Hello, and welcome to this, the Savage Balance Podcast. Hello, and welcome to this episode number 26 of the Savage Balance Podcast. How you all doing, guys? Are you doing well? Doing good? Are you enjoying the weather? I saw a lot of you about in the outsides, in the pubs, not lining up for the shops. I didn't really pass the shops, but I saw a lot of pubs with kind of pub gardens open and a lot of you sitting there enjoying alcoholic and potentially non-alcoholic beverages as well, with chums, with mates, with friends. Hope you had a good time doing that. Hope you can enjoy more of that in the future while remaining, socially distant and safe and aware of the people around you and your surroundings. But yeah, I'm pleased. A lot of you seem to be bloody well enjoying it. I think you were having a right laugh. And I'm pleased for you. I'm really pleased for you. Thanks very much, everyone who listened to the last week's episode, conversation with Piers Warren about gardening, about seasonal eating. It was about loads of stuff, really. I was really pleased with it because we covered a lot of ground. That's a good pun, isn't it? Unintentional, but if you're a fan of puns, I hope you enjoyed that one. In fact, if you like ground and you like puns, then go check out the Ground Force episode. That's back in the archives somewhere. It's one of the first ones, maybe 5 or 6. I can't remember. Go check it out. It's me telling the true story about what happened in Ground Force. Not true, but true. Actually true. Not true, but it is actually what happened. It is actually how they split up and the dynamics of the three. And I wasn't angry with Alan Titchmarsh at all, and he's totally nice, and it's not fictitious in any way. So go and have a listen to that little story that I wrote there. But yeah, thanks very much to Piers Warren. It was great. And I hope people have been enjoying the last few kind of ones on daily practices as well. I've been trying to incorporate more of them into my days, and more time for meditating, picking up yoga again as I can. I sort of have let's just call it a repeat injury, which has stopped me doing it, but slowly working my way back into it, which is good. And enjoying the weather and having a nice day. So that's good. Shall we jump in to the conversation at hand, the topic forthcoming, the all-important discussion about a very close and serious subject to my heart, the Mr. Dave Blue Van Man. So, who is Blue Van Man? For those of you who don't know, why am I talking about him, and what is this going to be? Well, he's a YouTuber, and I just wanted to have a look through what he's doing and why he's doing it, really, and what I'm attracted to about it. And I thought it might be a bit of fun to chat about him. So let's dive into it, hey? Blue Van Man, he is a YouTuber from Loughborough who I think has done the majority of his YouTube videos in the comfort of his van. I imagine it's a blue one, and I imagine he identifies as male, and I imagine he identifies as male because he was raised male. It connects with him, and he feels male, and I imagine he has sort of usually prescribed ideals of male appendages. I imagine that's something he owns as well, but I don't want to sort of project what sort of anatomy Dave, Mr. Blue Man Van, has, because that's not what I'm interested in, and I don't think it's worth talking about, to be honest. He hasn't really spoken about it much, so I'm not really interested in giving it any more time than I have done already. In fact, I regret already giving it that much time. Let's move on. He's from Loughborough, so that's sort of near, I think it's sort of around Leicester. I mean, he's a Leicester fan. I think a lot of people, he does a few different types of videos, and I think a lot of people understand him and know him for his videos talking about Leicester City Football Club, called For Fox's Sakes. Another pun there. Pun-heavy episode, innit? Ground and foxes. For those who don't know, Leicester City Football Club, the sort of club nickname or the emblem on the badge is a fox. So that's why I don't know. I've never watched one actually, so I don't know if he says it. But that's not the ones I'm interested in. I'm more interested in his food reviews, in which he reviews him eating different foods, like maybe a Papa John's pizza or a Cornetto or a Rustlers, many different Rustlers videos. In fact, the Rustlers, in the microwavable burgers. He did a challenge once from Chris the Butcher where he made a pizza burger in which he cooked 2 pizzas and then cooked a burger as well. And then, the pizzas were the buns, the bread of the burger. What I found confusing about that video is that the burger, the pizza is covered in cheese, and so is the other pizza. It's covered in cheese, like as a pizza is. It's covered in cheese. And yet on the burger, he put some cheese on it. I think that's a lot of cheese. And I think you've already got 2 thick layers of cheese. I don't know why you're putting a 3rd layer on it, but anyway, he was really, you could tell in his face, he was going, I tell you what, that ain't half bad. And there was like a look in his eyes that was like, this is an amazing thing that's just happened for me. Anyway, that's sort of how I got into him, because I saw him reviewing vegan products, and I am a vegan human being. And as you do with YouTube, with the old algorithms, you just click on the links as they appear, forever widening out and broadening out the sort of scope that YouTube understands you to the point where it can start leeching its fingers into you, grabbing you and radicalizing you more and more, and also taking more of your attention by presenting videos to you more and more that the algorithm already understands that you will click on, which it's already done with me, because now I click on little small videos and I go, oh, just that. And then I end up in it for an hour and I think, oh, it's got me. It's been a long time since I was out of the grip of YouTube. Anyway, that's how Blue Van Man got me. I think I'm one of his many subscribers. He's just sort of in line with other YouTubers like him that sort of kind of 40 plus, kind of working class, like builder, construction, butcher, there's other people that are like him, sort of like Chris the Butcher and Robbie Knox. These are the sort of YouTubers he has relationships with, and I think he's a good friend of, what's the guy's name, the Geordie, I've forgotten his name. I think that he's quite a big famous one, and I've forgotten his name. I can't remember his name. Geordie man, Geordie bloke geezer dude, Geordie the lovely the chesty man bloke person. I can't remember his name. Anyway, that guy. So he's sort of in that sort of realm of people. Like, I think a lot of them you could fairly describe them as what people would characterize as sort of like stereotypical ideas of masculinity, of manliness, of blokiness, talking in, sort of like, I guess, sort of colloquial terms for, people who live in those sort of surrounding areas, very sort of ideas of like banter, like banter with people. That's sort of the area in which he's communicating in. Like a lot of people who sort of like have day-to-day work, and like sort of manual labor work and, white man van kind of thing. Like literally, he is the blue van man, like a sort of white van man, a typical white van man you might expect. He's sort of very much in that world. For those of you who don't know who he is, I recommend you should probably check him out beforehand, watch one of his YouTube videos, or in fact, he's got a new podcast coming out, I think, called the Visually Impaired Podcast, which is a great name for his podcast. But for those who don't know, here is a little compilation of clips.
Right, folks. Oh, they do gluten-free bread.
I don't want to know.
No, I know you don't, but for the future.
Oh, right. Okay.
For the future. Because I like to see ahead, you see, folks. I like to plan ahead. I like to... You know what I mean? Bloody battery's going. Right, I'm going to have to change the battery. Change the battery. 1 second. I'll be back, folks. I'm not going to edit it. I'll just join it all up. All right. Right, folks, we are back with a full battery.
But if it's our garden, you have to walk through the house to get to the garden anyway.
Well, you do, don't you? I've got something in my fucking eye here. Right, done. And Chris just make the perfect sandwich, don't they?
They do.
I've got to open my window. I'm gone up here. I'm having a flush.
Sun's out.
I've lost my keys. Oh, there they are. And so yeah, like I've said before, if I was an I'm a celebrity, get me out of here, which I won't, because I'm not a celebrity and I won't be in there and I won't be saying get me out of here. But if I was, and it was like a kangaroo cock or olives, I would take the kangaroo cock.
I'm like that with prawns.
Yeah.
There we are. That's a small compilation of clips edited together from like a new video. Like when I started doing the research for this, it was a new video called Subway with Crisps. So he was reviewing eating a Subway sandwich from Subway, where they now put crisps in your Subway, and he was eating it. And I enjoyed all 11 and a half minutes of it. And for those of you who maybe do know who he is, you might like think it's fair enough to be asking, what are you interested in him for? Why are you interested in him? For those of you who know me, like why is this person somebody you dedicate a lot of time to? And my partner can confirm I do spend a lot of time like thinking about them, talking about them, watching them. And I would genuinely really love to interview them on this podcast. I'd love to have them on to talk. Because I think it's fair to say as well that like we don't I think we wouldn't share opinions. I think that we have very different opinions on lots of things. For example, he did a video on like prison reform and what to do with prisoners, and the things he was suggesting are sort of the opposite things that I think. They're not the things that I go with. But there's something about it that I really like that goes sort of beyond opinions. And in fact, I also think that far too often we're too divided by opinions, by going, oh, this person thinks that thing the same as me, but because they think that thing, fuck them, basically. Like I think there's so much of that. But I don't feel that this is our defining characteristics, that I don't think we're defined by our opinions, that there's something underneath that. And so much of our opinions, are formed by our societies, by our cultures, by our family, by our education, by our class, by our socioeconomic status, by the things that we consume, the tele or the radio or the podcasts, by our friends, by potential traumas, like all of these things are affecting what our opinions are really and what we think about things. The people we're exposed to have a massive influence on that. And so I think, if I lived, in Glasgow, for example, like if I grew up in Glasgow, would I be the same person? Like there's a very different texture to that place. Same if I grew up in Paris or in Rio de Janeiro, or if I grew up in Istanbul, like all of these places have different signatures. And I wouldn't be the same person now, at least opinion wise, if I grew up in these places compared to where I grew up myself. So I don't really feel like opinions are our key signifiers. And I think, to be honest as well, it's fair to say, like, I come from Dartford, and there's very much there's a kind of similar sort of masculine, blokey feel to that place. And I think as a teenager, at least, there was a lot of people there who spoke like that, who were very much kind of people you would describe as working class, like have manual labor jobs in warehouses. I mean, I also work in a warehouse myself, but very much in these sort of male-dominated worlds, or at least masculine-dominated worlds with those sorts of words. And they were the sort of people that I would be intimidated by, not in aggression, not because they're aggressive, but because of, I don't know, like a sort of an easygoing way of talking, and very much a self-assured way, and like quite forthright confidence in who they are and who they're talking to. And if I was to give off impressions of not being of that world, I would, like, I'm basically saying it's a reflection of me. That there were people I would be intimidated by, but because of myself, not because of them. It's because of a lack of confidence in me. But so there's all of this stuff going on, and he's very much, as I mentioned before, that's his sort of, I was going to say a character, but I think it's genuinely who he is, which I'll get to later. But one of the things that fascinates me about him is I'm just really surprised. I hope this doesn't come across patronizing, but I'm surprised how popular he is. Like, it's not the sort of content you normally see, for example, on YouTube that's being recommended, but he has 135,000 subscribers. His most viewed video is 270,000 odd views, which is him eating a KFC popcorn chicken Pizza Hut pizza. I haven't seen it, but like I've seen his other videos, and he's going to be eating it and saying, "Oh, that's nice," or "That's not nice," or "It's sticky." Like, he might be saying all kinds of things. Even the fact, like the Subway with crisps video I mentioned before, I saw that come up when it was released 2 hours before, and in that time he'd had over 1,600 people seeing that episode. Like, I just think those numbers are like staggering, that many people are tuning in that quickly to see it, especially as, you know, this is a podcast I've only just started up and I'm not very good at promoting it, and I really want to get better. If anyone has any ideas, please email me, savbowpod@gmail.com. If you want to be involved with promoting it, an email to that address would be great. Like, I'm not very good at promoting things, and you know, I'm trying to find more ways more space in my life so I can dedicate more time to getting the message out there. But anyway, it's not getting that many views is what I'm saying. This podcast here is not getting 1.6 thousand views in 2 hours. And he's eating Subway with crisps in it. Like, he does videos with, he says the Kiwi next door because his next door neighbour is from New Zealand. And they can be like an hour and a half long videos of them just drinking beer and just chatting shit in the garden together. Or all different kinds of things. Just chatting away with this person. And they're getting like up to like 15,000 views, these videos, for like an hour and a half of just some people in the back garden chatting, drinking a beer. Like, I find it really interesting. So that's one of the things I'm really interested about him. Like we don't share these opinions, and like, he's the sort of person that I might be a bit intimidated by or would struggle to communicate with him just because of my own nerves and fear. Although maybe that's more of a past thing. I think now I'm more self-assured and self-confident, but I'm just like that many views is great for him. Like, it's wonderful. I really think it's great, but like it's a lot considering, you know, for example, well, I guess the way we consume media is different now, but like he's not the sort of personality you would see on a television program, which, you know, is problematic in its own ways because of, you know, very similar people for a long time being recycled in and out and only allowing certain people from certain groups like a minority amount, and they have to tick certain boxes anyway. But, you know, it's just, I find all this interesting. Oh, one thing I do want to say, actually, before I keep going with this is, look, I one of the things I was worried about is that, like, I'm not, none of this, I want to be, like, I don't want to be mean-spirited or patronizing. Like, I feel like I think there's a tendency for people to like review things like this and to laugh and to sneer and to point and to, you know, be judgmental. And I'm genuinely like really happy. Like, the fact that he's doing this and he's gotten to the point where now he's making it his career. Like, he left his job, I'm not sure when, a few months ago, so he can dedicate to doing this, which is like entertaining. And like, if you see the comments, people really love him. And he always looked like he's having like so much fun. Like I think that's fantastic, and I'm like, I don't ever like just being mean or like poking fun, or like, I think there's an important place in life for silliness and for like celebrating silliness and for celebrating like the ordinary and mundanity, like the parts of his life that I feel like there are big celebrations of, and so the thing I was worried about is if I would accidentally say something that will come across as like me being patronizing or looking down, or because I am, like, at the end of the day, I'm an outsider from his world, and like from the way he talks and the relationships that he has and the way he communicates with his partner June and the way he communicates with his daughter and people around, like it's just not a world that I'm in. And so when I'm talking from outside of it, I'm always worried that I'm going to be coming across, you know, either judgmental or mean-spirited or patronizing. And I I'm trying to be careful to not like accidentally say something that could be misconstrued as that, but because I'm genuinely like I really like him. Like he's really great. Like I really like so much about him. Like I said, we've got so many different opinions, but like he makes me laugh. Like he makes me really laugh. That's one of the main things I like about it. Like just there's things in his videos that I just full of so much joy. Like he recently did like Papa John's new vegan. Was it the Alice Thai pizza? And also, the whole video is called Papa John's New Vegan, the Alice Thai Pizza, Not Chicken Vegan Bites, Cauliflower Wings and Potato Tots. That's the name of the video. It's a good 15 minutes or so long. But 2 minutes of that video is dedicated to him and June, his partner, his wife, plating up, getting all the things ready and putting them all on the plate to bring up to his daughter. But that's it. Like, it's 2 minutes of that, and he's barely looking at the camera, and they're just chatting with each other. Like that's another trope of his videos, which I'll get to later, which is that they're not edited. Like, you see every single part. You see so many YouTube videos where it's sort of like, "Hi guys, and welcome to this video. It's nice to see you here." Like, you can tell, like they're cutting. So all of the word, or every word in it is the best version of the word they said, and all the pauses are out. He's just like laying everything out there. Like I could imagine like he's doing a video and he's like, "Oh fuck, I need a piss. I'm going for a piss," and he just leave the camera rolling and he'd come back and it's like, "Right, done me piss. Right, folks." Like, you know what I mean? He just does that, and you're just watching 2 minutes of like this beautiful domestic situation where they're just preparing food without any regard for like being entertaining and making a YouTube video that people are going to engage in that way. It's just like, yeah. Does she want some tots? Does she want some potato tots? You should have some of that. Make sure she gets a slice of pizza, or she can have the garlic dip. In fact, we've got 3 more garlic dips. Give her the whole garlic dip, but just give her a little bit of the buffalo sauce. You're just watching this for 2 minutes, which is supposed to be a review, whereas you can just imagine most YouTubers would want to be nice and slick and easy and like going in for it and like goes, "Right guys, I'm going to try this pizza and let's see if it gets my star rating." And then, "Oh yeah, it's got this extra bits to it, but like it's got this crunchiness to it and sponsored by," like, you know what I mean? It would have that kind of polished feel. Whereas he's just ordered it and he's turned on his camera and they're serving up dinner. They're having dinner right there. So it makes me laugh. There was another video, a great bit where he is eating a cornetto, I think a vegan cornetto, and at one point he's just there and he just looks at his arm a bit peculiarly, and he looks back at it and he just sort of touches it. He just licks his arm. Just licks his arm. Oh, sticky. Because he's got something sticky on his arm. He just licks it. Like I think who are the big ones? KSI would edit himself licking his arm. I think he would get rid of that. I think what are the big podcasts like? I could imagine like Louis Theroux doesn't do that when he's interviewing FKA Twigs, or you know what I mean? I don't think he would keep him licking potentially like sticky bits of ice cream off his arm and like genuinely confused and puzzled. Another great video is he's having some dairy milk dairy milk orange chocolate, and he's excited because he says it says on it like genuine orange, like orange oil is in this. And as he's eating, like he eats it, and this, bear in mind, this is a short review. This is a 5-minute review, a quick review of him eating this chocolate bar. He genuinely, and I've double checked, I've counted it, there is 42 seconds of silence, 42 seconds in a 5-minute video of him reviewing it, as when we're just watching a man in a van eat a chocolate bar. He's thinking it through and he's processing what he's eating, but he's making no effort to be entertaining. Like he's just eating the chocolate bar. He's not talking through it and going like, "Oh yeah, let's, oh, this bit's got a bit here. Let me have another taste and see what's going on." Like I've done radio shows before. Like I work on a program called Future Vegan on Future Radio 107.8 FM. Little plug there. And when we were in the studio together, we would do a food section, and I was very cautious and careful. Like our guest would bring in a bit of food, basically a bit of vegan food, and we try it on air. And I was very cautious. I'd wait for people to be talking and like choose my time to have a little bit of the food. And if I was eating food at the same time, I would be making an effort because it's for an audio. You know, it's being consumed by somebody. I'm sort of yeah, right. Oh, like I can. Oh, it's crunchy. Like I'm talking through it as I'm eating it because I don't just want to go. Right, I'll try that pasty. That's nice. That is, you know, what I mean? You don't want a big gap like that. Whereas him, he's uploading the video, and it's 42 seconds of silence. You're just watching him eat a chocolate bar, and then there's occasional words with him going like, "Right, what it is," and then another 10 seconds of silence. There is a minute and 2 seconds when he goes, "Let's tuck in," and he bites the chocolate bar, to when he actually says what he thinks about the chocolate bar, which is. It's just an orange chocolate bar. That's all it is. All it is an orange chocolate bar. He's so upset. He's bought a dairy milk and it says chocolate orange on it. And he spent a minute eating it. And then he's just like, it's just an orange chocolate bar. That's all it is. And he's really disappointed and a bit angry. It just makes me laugh. Like he's genuinely, the whole thing's got this kind of almost mockumentary feel to it. It's a bit like, you know, like a character like Cumbo sometimes, you know, it's got that sort of sense to it. Like the way he goes off script and interrupts himself sometimes. He'll be talking and he'll be trying it and he'll go, what that is right is, and then he'll just take another bite of food and he'll be chewing it for ages. And you're like, what do you think? When are you going to tell me what you think? Like he's really good at building suspense naturally, and sort of like I think in the same way as like if you don't know David Edwards, I mentioned Cumbo earlier. He does like Cumbo is a character from David Earl, who also does characters like Brian Gittins, and he has a podcast called Brian Gittins and Friends, which is one of my favorite podcasts of all time that I've ever heard. I've consumed a lot of podcasts, and that is one of the best. And really, it's just Brian Gittins with the real person called David Edwards and a robot called Charles and a guest, and they go through scenarios, and really it's just a platform for Brian Gittins to prod David Edwards. And David Edwards is like, he's not a character, he's just genuinely talking, but he talks so naturally funny, like he's got like this sort of natural timing and this natural quick wit. And I think in a very different way, Blue Van Man has that. He's got his sort of natural kind of cheekiness to him, and this natural sort of inbuilt, like, just you know, sort of funny bones. Like sometimes he says things and you can tell they're deliberate and they're deliberate little jokes, but sometimes he's just being him. And it's just like a genuine joy to watch because he's having fun. That's what it's really nice to see. It's somebody who just seems to be having fun. And sometimes that fun is like, I guess it's fun, but it's also like there's like this honesty and this genuineness to it. So if he's not having fun, he's not having fun. Like sometimes he'll be laughing with June, and then a second later he might be talking about somebody who drove past him today in the van. He's like, they drove past me. They drove fucking so close to my windscreen, and they can just fuck off. They can fuck off. And he's instantly so irate, and he's holding the Rustler's burger there ready to eat. He's like, you know what, fuck. And sometimes it takes him like 11, 12 minutes to actually eat the thing or whatever, but like there's a genuineness and there's an honesty there, but he looks like he's having fun a lot of time, and he's just, I like the speed in which everything's uploaded as well. That's really cool. He's got this really like nice solid relationship with June as well, which again, similar to what I just said there, like there's banter. It like they have that kind of way of talking with each other. They're taking the piss out of each other a lot. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of smiles. There's a lot of love, but there's also a lot of stress there as well. And the stress doesn't get edited out. Most videos you'd see the stress get edited out, or you'd see the little bits. If they're like not communicating well, they're just not communicating well while he's having, you know, trying the new Doritos chili blue flavor. Like they'll just be there and he'll just be doing it. And it's just like, it's really nice. It's sort of refreshing. And it's just enjoyable to watch. And I get the sense that a lot of people a lot of YouTubers are making content for people. I mean, you are making content for people. I'm making content. I mean, I'm talking about Blue Van Man because it was an idea that sort of sparked my interest and my creativity. And I thought, this will be fun. I want to talk about him. But I'm trying to present it in a way that is authentic to me, that is hitting that creative spot and that I'm enjoying. So primarily it's for me. But ultimately it is for content. It is content for other people to enjoy. And so, although I'm not doing this necessarily for other people, the more people that are listening naturally, the better it is for me. And that would be, I'd be happy with that. I'd be really happy with that. And a lot of people do make content specifically for followers to get more people involved. If that's a trending topic, we'll talk about that. If that's a subject here that is hot right now, we'll talk about that. I'll present it to ways in which people will react to. Oh, they reacted to this video more, and I did that slight twist or that different intro, and I got into it quicker. So I'll do that more to get more people involved. And I just get the impression that although the more people he gets in, and the more sponsorships he gets, the more he can maintain this as a career. I get the impression that it actually doesn't matter to him, that he's just uploading content. He's just making stuff, and it's not about it being primed and polished. It is almost quantity, but it's just like to have your face out there. But I don't get the impression that he's obsessed with followers and he's like looking at statistics and going, "Are they responding more to that video or more to that?" It's like a very genuine relationship with the people that like him. Someone will just say, "Oh, why don't you try that Oreo milkshake?" And he'll be like, "Yeah, all right, I'll try the Oreo milkshake." Like, it was just because someone suggested it. It's like, yeah, I'll do that. There's not like if I get that, then I'll get, 5% more engagements with that. And then I can turn that into this revenue stream and I can build on this. I just get the sense that there's a very much a genuineness about the way he makes his content. It almost sometimes feels like a character, but you can tell it was the same way as David Edwards. Sometimes he feels like a character, but then they're not characters. They're genuine people. And you know that they're genuine people, and that makes it like even more sweeter. The sweeter peach. Blue Van Man, Blue Van Man is a sweet peach, is what I'm saying. He's a very sweet peach. So I can see why, from that angle, that people would get involved in it. But here's one of the things that it sparked off my creativity with, and I don't think many people will go with me on this, but I think that there's space for me to say it, and I like this way of thinking, so I'm going to go down an avenue that I feel a lot of people won't go down me with. That's fine. I'm going to do it. It's because I can see it, and I sort of see this link, because I get this sense sometimes in conversations that he's having, sometimes it feels like the one I mentioned before, the pizza one, where you're just watching that happen. A lot of that episode, yeah, why not? It is an episode. A lot of that video, a lot of that YouTube video is Blue Van Man he's not addressing us. Most people would be doing a food review and going, "Hi guys," and looking into the camera all the time, eating it, making sure they're lit in the right way. They're getting the best angles on things so that that you're watching this person and they are making this for you. You are consuming the thing that they are making. But that episode in particular, he's talking to June most of the time. Like, they're just having a conversation and June's not in shot because she's in a dressing gown and she doesn't want to be seen in a dressing gown, even though within a minute you do see her in a dressing gown. But she doesn't want to be on camera. She does eventually hold up a really limp pizza. In fact, that's another great thing about that episode as well, actually, is he keeps trying to hold up. He does that YouTube thing, where if you hold up, or it's just a camera thing, but you see it a lot on YouTube. If you hold up a thing you want to show people and you want it to be in focus and you don't want it to be too bright, you hold up your hand behind it so that the camera can see it properly. And he keeps holding up a piece of chicken or a piece of potato tot or a piece of pizza to the camera, and it just won't focus. And he's just holding it there for like 30 seconds going, "Oh, for fuck's sakes. It's for fucking hell." He can't get it to focus. He just keeps holding it up. Anyway, June holds up a limp pizza and he's holding up his limp pizza and they're like, "For fuck's sakes, fucking come on." But anyway, the way that they're talking with each other, they're talking to each other And very occasionally, it's very occasional, but he turns and he looks at you, but he says it conversationally. Like she'll say something about the limp pizza and then basically be like, oh, limp dick, sort of joke, like, oh, you got a blue van man, you got a limp dick, haven't you? And he'll like turn to the camera as if you were sitting next to him, as if you were that person at that table. And he's like, just give you like a look like, tune. And then they carry on talking. And that's it. Like there's little moments like this. And I get the sense, it almost feels to me like a kind of interactive experience. Like you're wearing a virtual headset and you're able to be part of this conversation, almost like a Skype call or something, but like watching family members doing this thing, but it's like it's an interactive experience. It doesn't feel so much to me like you're just watching a video. It feels like a different medium within the YouTube thing. And I would suggest that there is almost the way he presents it, as I've mentioned previously before, like it's not well lit in that sense. He's not presenting, like he's not a presenter, he's just a human being. He's not editing it, he's not doing those extreme edits. He leaves in all the extraneous details, all the weird little fuck-ups, all the things, the silly, like the clip I played before, the battery dies, and he leaves it in, like he edits that, like they're sort of there together, he just puts it together because that's the video. He's not going back and doing it again. I feel like we understand what a YouTube vlog is now. Like if someone says what a vlog is on YouTube, we understand what it is. But I think there's a kind of anti-YouTube vlog thing going on here. Like he's making anti-YouTube videos on YouTube. These aren't YouTube videos as we're used to. These aren't vlogs. These are anti-vlogs. These are the antithesis of vlogs. Almost like how, there's certain types of cinema, people make films, and then every now and again a movement will come along like Dogma 95, Lars von Trier's set of rules and boundaries about how you make the films. So they're using the medium of film to make things other than what you'd experience, for example, I don't know, like Rain Man or Forrest Gump. Like they're making films like The Idiots, which are like, very much stick into this very specific kind of format within it. And because of that, like it becomes this other thing. Even that film, I can't remember who it's by, a French film, and I think it's called Bleu, which translates, funnily enough, as blue. And the whole film, like it's a film, but it's an hour and a half of a blue screen with like music and stuff going on. And so it's a film that you watch, but that is not Transformers. Like they're both in that one film is Transformers, and then that film, that film was made before Transformers, but that you're watching Blue and you're like, this is anti-Transformers. This is the same medium, but it's anti the other thing. And I get the sense with this, what he's making, they're like kind of like anti-YouTube videos. And it puts me in mind of a very famous art piece from Marcel Duchamp in 1917 when he made the piece called Fountain, which is basically the urinal. The urinal. It's like I think it was voted like one of the most inspirational art pieces of the last in the 20th century because of the impact of what it did for all other art, within it, like the way it transformed. And this was just, I think it's a famous thing that people say, but he got a urinal, he bought a urinal and he put it on its side in an art gallery. And then this brings up discussions all the time, like people saying, I could do that. What is art anyway? What is all this stuff? But anyway, in a 1964 interview, Duchamp suggested, and I'm reading this now from Wikipedia, suggested that he purposely selected a urinal because it was disagreeable. The choice of a urinal, according to Duchamp, sprang from the idea of making an experiment concerned with taste. Choose the subject which has the least chance of being liked, a urinal. Very few people will think there is anything wonderful about a urinal. I feel like that quote and this really famous art piece has something similar to Blue Van Man. Like he's making something that, like, what is the sort of thing that people wouldn't like? They're clicking to watch a video of someone eating food. What wouldn't they like? They wouldn't like, someone licking their arm and chatting with somebody for ages and the battery dying and then getting angry about the decking in their garden, and like not eating the food, but then not telling you what it is. Like all of the things, not edited, it's not slick in that sense. There is a sense in which, very few people, would find that agreeable, as they say. Like making an experiment concerned with taste. Choose the subject which has the least chance of being liked. And because of that, because of the way that like they're choosing that very specific thing, and yet it's become one of the most influential art pieces of the last, probably now to this day, since it was made 1917, probably in the last 100 years. There's not a more famous piece of art, arguably, than that piece. And there's something in what Blue Van Man is doing that these videos, they are sort of like a urinal, but it's like they're the urinal and they're being placed in the art gallery, as in on YouTube. And because it's not what you'd expect and it's something out of place and it's not the sort of thing you'd normally see, there's like a whole new audience that it can open up to, and it like redefines the boundaries about what a YouTube video can be, what creating content can be, what being a presenter is, what tasting food and reviewing food is. Like it sort of rewrites the things, the long videos, the no edits, the sort of lives and stories that you don't normally see. Like these are the things that people are getting hooked on. I feel like it's the using the boundaries of the genre to subvert the genre. That's what it feels like to me. Using the boundaries of the genre to subvert the genre. You're creating YouTube videos, but you're subverting the idea of what a YouTube video can be. There's another quote in there that says, by virtue of placing a urinal on a pedestal in an art exhibition, the illusion of an artwork is created. I feel like, creating a Blue Van Man video, putting it on a pedestal on YouTube, creates the illusion that a YouTube video was created. And because of that, it becomes genre breaking, and it redefines what a YouTube video is, what it is, what we're taking time to digest and put into our lives. Like it is almost sort of like comparable in that urinal, like that sort of disposable element of it as well. And like this constant flow, that's what a urinal is there for. It's like the urinal is like, it's a constant flow of piss, basically. And I'm not calling I hope it doesn't come across that I'm calling his YouTube videos piss. Like that, I'm not saying that they're shit. I'm saying that like the redefining what it is and recontextualizing and placing it in something else. Like maybe if you heard that conversation down the pub, or if you were in a restaurant and you could hear that conversation going on, like it might be a bit forgettable or disposable. You would just see regular people living ordinary lives, and it's just one of hundreds or thousands of people you might pass in that day or week or month. And yet the fact of placing it in the place that it is gives it this whole new meaning, gives it it expands, and it sort of destroys the idea of what YouTube videos are. I think it destroys how other people create YouTube videos and what it is and what it means to be entertaining. And I feel like in a similar way to, saying that was one of the most defining things of the last 100 years, I feel a similar thing about this guy. Like maybe the way that he creates content is going to be the most influential way that, we can all make content. That's my, as Blind Boy would call it, a hot take on his videos and the sort of artistic integrity of the videos that he is making. I love it. And I feel like it says a lot about, I love his videos, and I feel like it says a lot about the time we're in and the zeitgeist that we're in. Like he's got this kind of outsider, underdog appeal as well about him. Like achieving success in that format, I don't think is the sort of thing that many people would expect. Like his face, like it's kind of a youthful, in a sense, youthful platform. Like you see young people in that sort of place, and it feels like his appearance there is sort of like disruptive. It's like interrupting what you'd normally expect to see there, and that grabs your attention in a totally different way. And so then it expands your idea of what the format is and who it's for, and who can be included. Like in that sense, it's like it's including different people in who may feel excluded in other ways. And I love an underdog. Like I love that outsider kind of thing, and that's why I love seeing him be successful. Like genuinely, it fills me with a lot of joy, and I really enjoy his work for that. And there's almost like, and I sort of mentioned before, like there's this sort of celebration of the mundane and of the ordinariness. And I don't mean that insulting. What I mean is like everything is sort of really Instagram ready. Like the whole YouTube videos, they're cut that fast because people want to present the best versions of themselves. And I don't think he's afraid to not present the best version of himself. He's presenting all of him, all of authentic him. I don't think he turns it off and goes, fucking hell, now I can really let rip. Like he's that's him, is coming across. And everything that goes like on Instagram or on Twitter like is a version of ourselves. So it's almost like he's lifting the veil up as well, you know, like there's a whole level of authenticity that he's portraying, and he allows other people to be authentic in that way as well. Like we know like the mundane stuff. We don't often get to watch the minutiae of everyday life. Like our direct interface with day-to-day living, you know, what food you'll eat, who's on telly, what happened in the football, what's happening in the world, that you don't often get to see it through that light. And he's like, that's what he's doing. Like, and it feels celebratory. Like it feels like somebody who's comfortable in it, like, and loving it. And it reminds me as well to like be grateful for those moments when I'm having a Papa John's pizza, not sponsored by Papa John's, with my partner. Like, well, we probably wouldn't have a Papa John's pizza in that sense, but I'd have a Papa John's pizza. I bloody think they're great. Sponsored by Papa John's, 50% off. Use the code Savage Balance Podcast. Try it, go on. I don't think it will work at all because they're not coming near this podcast with their sponsorship, whether they'd like to or not, and I feel like they wouldn't. Anyway, like, you know what I mean? Like there's like I feel like a lot of the times the things we're exposed to, like with the news and with stories, there's a lot of extraordinary lists. Like Transformers is an extraordinary story. It's bollocks. It's absolutely a bollocks film, but it's like extraordinary, isn't it? Like it's beyond ordinary. It's ordinary plus. There's people in it, yeah, but then there's big fucking alien robots that move too fast and give you headaches, and all of the other problems with that film. Oh, there are many, many problems with that film. The thousands of problems with all of those films. I haven't seen all of them, and I reckon the dinosaur, the metal dinosaur one, is probably as bad as Revenge of the Dark Side of the Metal, the Moon, the Dark Revenge of the Moon, whatever ones they are. I don't know. And yet, so we don't get to see, like, that's why, like, that's a different film from, like, Kes, which is, like, people living, or like, a lot of Ken Loach films, which is people's everyday lives, and they're often, you know, kind of there politically to tell a point. But this just feels like, there feels like a celebration to me, a celebration of people's everyday lives that we all live, that we often cut out and edit when we present it to other people on Instagram because they're not interesting. He's including it all in. It's like all of this shit is staying in because it's beautiful, because it's life, because it's what we do, and I like that, you know, like, and I also feel like there's like a celebration of a way of life that's often demonized in our culture. And I don't mean this like in a monetary way, because I think often like working class people, if they are presented on telly, it's often in derogatory ways and through programs in which they are struggling, and then they are being judged on top of that. Programs like on the like Dole Street, whatever that was, or Can't Pay Will Take It Away. I watched a lot of that at one point, and it was just really like, it was just genuinely really depressing, and it just felt so judgmental. You know, about working class people, about people who are like struggling to get by, people who are doing what they can to get on, and it was always like these are, you know, there's lots of different things and words they were using, but it was like, you know, these are frauds, these are trying to cheat you, these are trying to like cheat the system, these are trying to. I'm not saying that that is the life that Blue Van Man is living. In fact, I think he did a video on how he got out of debt. So it's not the money side. It's more that is usually the portrayal of working class people, real life working class people on telly. And here he is, like, celebrating his life, celebrating that I'm having a fucking Papa John's pizza. I'm having a bar of chocolate. I'm having... Chris the Butcher has challenged me to... I don't know why it's a challenge, because it's pizza and burgers, and most people would like pizza and burgers. So it's not a challenge. Anyway, he's like, that was the challenge, and he did it. Like, that's... It feels celebratory to me in that way, is what I'm saying. And I just feel like, from what I mentioned earlier, we're often so divided by, differing opinions. That even, like, I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but I just feel like I genuinely, like I mentioned it earlier, I would love to have him on this podcast, because I think it would be a really fascinating conversation. And I do believe this, that no matter who you are and no matter who you are communicating with, there is always something you can learn and take away from that person if you are patient and you are listening and you are empathetic and you are, questioning and you are asking and you are listening to the response and you're non-judgmental. You're just going to learn so much stuff from people. And I'd love to have that sort of conversation with him. I just, he must represent, like, the popularity of it. He must be representing, like, an underbelly or like an unappreciated and sort of neglected group of people who are looking at this content, which I almost, like I mentioned earlier, it's almost like anti-content. Like, it's not, like, it is, like, so rough and ready that it's just, like, the amount of people that see it for what it is like staggering. So I feel like what is being communicated, who is getting that and who is appreciating that and who's getting it. And it puts me in mind of how I've heard people talk about, the left being abandoned in political terms, like the working class abandoning the left, like giving up on class politics to focus more and more on identity politics. And this sort of, like, you visually see it in, like, the red wall breaking in the 2019 election, like sort of like northeast area, like working class area, going Conservative, going Tory. I feel like, I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's a link between that, like, that he's communicating something to maybe those groups of people who are, like, just finding something in what he says. I'd love to know more about it, but I can't quite make the connection in my head, but I'm interested in who's watching it and why they're watching it so much. Because it is almost like, and look, I'm saying this as a fan, I'm saying this as somebody who does watch a lot of it, but I sometimes think, where is the entertainment? Like, I'm watching somebody eating like a falafel pizza badly, like not in a kind of flashy entertainment up tempo, like, here's what it is, here's my rating out of 10, tune in next week for, like, it's just this bloke who's he's literally turned on a camera and he's just eating a pizza. Where is that entertainment? And I mean, like, I'm asking where is the entertainment because it's there, because I'm the audience, I'm fixed in it, I'm watching it. I feel like there's definitely a changing shift in what constitutes entertainment. Like, maybe the BBC's powers are loosening more and more as more people watch stuff online, and people are more willing to. I watch less and less, like, content that is like series of films, and I'd spend more time on podcasts of people chatting and, like, of YouTube videos like Blue Van Man, and I feel like there's a shift in what constitutes entertainment, and it's kind of exciting when it's voices like this that are coming through. Anyway, I think that's about all I wanted to say. I think that is mainly it. Like, maybe he's not everyone's cup of tea, and maybe people, won't get on in the same way. That's cool. Like, we're all different people. I think he says it himself. He does. I think I heard him say it in a video before. Like, he said, I don't say like and subscribe, because if you don't like and don't subscribe, you can fuck off. So I don't think I need to necessarily recommend him unless this piqued your interest. I've probably, like, given you a little bit of the wrong impression by some of the comparisons I made. I don't think he's talking about Marcel Duchamp. He might do. Maybe he will do his video on, like, here's my review on 1917 Fountain. But I haven't seen that video yet, so I don't think there'll be much of that discussion. But anyway, you might like it. check it out. YouTube, Blue Van Man. He's doing the podcast. I'm not sure when he's doing it, the Visually Impaired podcast. Because, he says it a lot, and at first it felt like it was out of nowhere, and it made me chuckle that he'd hold up a piece of bread or a piece of bun, or like some of the meal he's eaten, to the camera really close, and he'd go, "For the visually impaired, I'm holding it up." It's just like, where, what are they getting out of that? They can't. What are you holding? Like, why is it you're holding up? Anyway, it's because his Uncle Steve, I believe, Uncle Steve is visually impaired, and he's doing a podcast with Uncle Steve. I'll put a link to that in the show notes, and I'll probably put a link to 1 or 2 videos as well. But maybe his website. I think he's got a website, or he's got an Instagram. He's got merchandise anyway. There's all like you can figure it out from there. Anyway, cheers for listening to this, guys. Thanks very much. Not the normal podcast, but I like it. I like being free flowing with ideas and just following impulses and following creative drives and just seeing where it takes me. And it's good fun. He says don't like and subscribe. I am going to say please subscribe and tell people about it and get people to listen to this, because I'm not getting 1,600 views within 2 hours. Maybe next week I'll eat Subway but with crisps. Maybe I'll do that. If I eat a Subway with crisps, will 1,600 of you listen in 2 hours? I hope so. I don't really know. I don't think I could be entertaining eating the sandwich and crisps compared to him. Like, you'd go this and go, fuck this, I'm going to Blue Van Man. Anyway, if you could tell people about this, I genuinely mean really so much to me, because I do. I want more people to hear it, and I want to hear more from people as well. And like, it's similar to him. I would like to make this, maybe it's too much to say a career at the moment, because I'm not near that. But if I could get enough like income, for example, to like substitute so I wouldn't have to work a day, then this could be my job for that day. And I could do so much more. I've got tons of ideas of what I want to do, but it's just the time. Time gets really constrictive. But anyway, I need more people to listen. So if you could be someone who could tell somebody about it, but don't like hold them at knife point, or don't fucking watch the podcast, you cunt. Like, just, suggest it to them and see if they want to do it. Like, if they don't want to listen, then don't make them listen. Or maybe do. I don't know. Maybe that's how people do it. Is that how you do it? Threaten people to listen to my podcast. Threaten them to visit my Instagram, Savage Balance Podcast, and threaten them to look on Twitter at savbalpod. Threaten them to get in touch with me via the email address at savbalpod@gmail.com with suggestions about how to not be threatened by people, or what sort of content you'd like to hear if you are being threatened to listen to this. We have a website at savbalpod.com, and you can threaten people to go on there to read like words about it. I'm finally getting around to actually updating it, slowly but surely, because I left it too long, but it's getting there, and it's getting quite good. So, you can check it out. There's more stuff on there than there was before. Stuff is actually happening. I'm threatening you to subscribe, I'm threatening you to comment, I'm threatening you to rate, and I'm threatening you to review this on so-called Apple Podcasts. The artwork was by Dolly Gray, who I didn't threaten to make this, and the music is by Danny Tonks, who I will threaten, but not really for any reason other than just for my own amusement. Thanks very much for listening to this, guys. I'll be back next week with... I do have an idea for next week, actually. I don't normally, but I think I know what I'm going to do. It's going to require work, but I like the work. I like it. It's good fun, and I hope that it will be useful anyway next week. But anyway, that's enough. Thanks very much, guys. I'll talk to you next week. Stay safe out there. Stay more vigilant and socially distant. And I love some of you for sure, and I like the rest of you. See you later.